On the news tonight, federal government gives 30 days to decide on suspension of new electricity tariff. 1 year of President Tinubu's administration, ministries give account of leadership. A pleasant evening to you all out there and happy weekend. This is NTA Ijebu News at 7, coming to you from your heritage station. Thanks for staying tuned with us. I am Olawumi Adeniji, and here are the details. The federal government will in the next 30 days take decision on whether to suspend the new electricity tariff of 206.8 naira kilowatts per hour for Band A electricity customers in the country or not. This follows the petition by the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, appealing for the suspension of the tariff. Joshua Ojito reports.
The dust is yet to settle over increase in electricity tariff for Band A customers, with Manufacturers Association of Nigeria appealing for the suspension of the new tariff. In a petition to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, the association through its council says there was no wide consultation with customers before the increase in tariff, and the continuous implementation of the tariff will lead to closure of some manufacturing industries in the country.
Can we initiate a process where we have deeper conversations as to what we need to do to make progress?
The order that was issued in January, I believe, is not being challenged. And in that order, there is a clear provision by the Commission that automatic adjustments on monthly basis reflecting the FX rate and some other macroeconomic indices will continue to take place.
However, the petition was opposed by power generating and distribution companies who argue that the suspension of the tariff will lead to losses in their operations. Vice Chairman, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, Dr. Musliu Oseni, who chairs the four-man panel, reserves ruling on the matter for the next 30 days. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
And in the meantime, the federal government has restated the commitment of the Tinubu's administration to revamping the nation's tax system without overburdening Nigerians. Vice President Kashim Shettima said this when he received a delegation from the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria at the Presidential Villa. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila has more.
Soliciting institutes' insight on attracting foreign direct investment through competitive company tax rates, Vice President Kashim Shettima said the focus of the Tinubu administration is not to increase tax burden on Nigerians, but to improve the efficiency of tax collection. He stressed the importance of collaborating with the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria to adopt global best practices in tax administration. President of the institute commended the federal government's effort to address the needs of Nigerians, citing the recent suspension of the cybersecurity levy as a prime example. He pledged to provide technical and professional advice to the government at all levels, contributing to the development of an efficient tax system that fosters ease of doing business, accountability, and prudent utilization of taxpayers' resources.
We are looking at how the Vice President can use his good offices to relate with various state governors, and now the issue of non-state actors can be curbed because this is not allowing Nigeria to collect what it ought to collect. So once we remove the activities of the non-state actors, Nigeria will be doing well in terms of revenue collection, and we are also very mindful of the need for either government at the federal level or at the state level to use whatever is collected in terms of tax judiciously for the purpose of the masses of this country.
Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima has called on leaders in Nigeria's capital market to restructure the system with a view to deploying strategies that will attract more youth to leverage opportunities in the sector. He made the call when he received the management of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, led by the President and Chairman of the Council, Mr. Oluropo Dada. Speaking on the contribution of the Institute to the nation's economy, Vice President Kashim Shettima observed that while the Institute's position in the economy is critical, it has been grossly underutilized over the years. President of the Institute, Dada Oluropo, commended the federal government for its bold and courageous policies, including the petrol subsidy removal, banking sector recapitalization, and reforms in the foreign exchange market. From the State House, Abraman Jibrila, NTA News.
Stabilization of democracy the world over is dependent on the effectiveness and efficiency of the justice sector. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, says this is exactly what President Bola Tinubu's administration is doing while presenting the scorecard of the Justice Ministry in Abuja. Judiciary correspondent Austin Ayembe has the details.
The justice sector is seen as an umpire in the game of politics as it mediates between the political parties, actors and institutions of government. To achieve this, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, says the government is committed to ensuring that the people have access to justice. Giving an overview of what has been achieved in the justice sector 1 year of President Tinubu in office, Lateef Fagbemi says tremendous successes have been recorded in areas of criminal prosecution as the Ministry of Justice has developed a legal framework with relevant agencies to enhance process of prosecution.
Within the same period of 1 year, the ministry has vetted and reviewed 485 contracts and PPP projects to ensure value for money, eliminate corruption, and ensure adequate protection of federal government investments.
The federal government also facilitated international cooperation on terrorism financing and prosecution, as well as the extradition of offenders. The ministry, in line with President Tinubu's stance on anti-corruption strategy, is using relevant acts through the judicial process to recover proceeds of crime and ensure transparent management of recovered assets.
The ministry coordinated the development of a draft national policy on arbitration, which currently is being finalized for presentation and approval of the Federal Executive Council. The national policy on arbitration seeks to promote arbitration and other dispute resolution mechanisms.
The Ministry of Justice, he adds, has continued to implement international treaties in several sectors, including the ones that promote and protect human rights. The Attorney General of the Federation also enumerates several reforms being undertaken at the parastatals under the Ministry of Justice to achieve the overall target in the justice sector. In Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Nigerians are to expect basic cancer facilities in the 6 federal teaching hospitals in the next 12 to 18 months, amidst renewed impetus on local production of medical commodities, research and collaborations. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, pledged this while reading out progress made and what lies ahead towards ensuring accessible, quality health care and social welfare for the populace. Uche Ugochukwu reports.
Professor Pate outlined several significant accomplishments, including the expansion of healthcare infrastructure, increased access to essential medicines, and the implementation of robust public health campaigns to combat prevalent diseases.
Thanks to NCDC and Primary Healthcare Development Agency, who mobilized to ensure that we have good surveillance system to prevent diseases from breaking out. And Mr. President also, I think, was very gracious in approving additional resources for NCDC to have contingent financing available. And we signed an MOU with NSIA with resources available in our 2024 budget to expand cancer infrastructure and equipment in 6 federal teaching hospitals.
He said a lot has been done to address local production of medical commodities, shortage of personnel, and improve the quality of healthcare services. He, however, stressed the need for more to be done, especially in rural areas where access to healthcare remains a challenge.
The first policy measure is a draft executive order which we have now produced, finalized, and if the President assents it, will reduce the barriers in terms of import of raw materials, import of equipment for pharmaceuticals and devices, so that Nigerians will be able to produce what we need.
In the area of social welfare, he said the ministry has worked tirelessly to enhance support for vulnerable communities through poverty alleviation programs and targeted interventions.
We raise the resources, but the states have to implement. but we have to make sure that the resources go to the intended objectives.
The ministry pledged to continue to prioritize the well-being of all Nigerians and strive for a healthier and more prosperous nation as it remains vigilant in addressing the persistent challenges facing the healthcare and social welfare systems. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, in collaboration with the Society for Family Health, has concluded its 5-year project, Delivery Innovation in Self-Care. Uche Ugochukwu reports that the project aims to support women and communities to assume power and control over their sexual reproductive health.
Gathered in this hall are healthcare professionals, policymakers and actors from the 15 states covered in the Project 1 to reflect on the impacts of the Delivery Innovation and Self-Care Project, tagged DISC, leveraging on the lessons learned from COVID-19 when there was depth of access to healthcare facilities. The project, in the 5 years of implementation, empowered women and communities to take charge of managing their health through self-care interventions.
We've been able to impact the contraceptive prevalence rate, which in turn has impacted maternal mortality in our country.
Since the project has started, we've taken self-injection from being about 12% of DMPSC until most recently about 50% of DMPSC.
Through partnerships, the project reached remote and underserved areas, delivering vital healthcare information and services directly to those in need.
We're thinking about the sustainability, so going forward we will be ensuring that our facilities through our DMA have commodities and consumable available 24/7 for our women and leveraging on the CHIPS program in the states.
Nigerian government is making effort through the Honorable Minister of Health and Social Welfare, who is very passionate in providing funds for the procurement of the family planning commodities.
The dissemination meeting provided a platform for participants to exchange best practices, lessons learned and recommendations for sustaining the project's impact and the next phase of the project. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
Still on health matters. The National Health Insurance Authority is moving towards increasing the number of Nigerians covered by the scheme. The Director General of NHIA says a review of the 7% insurance coverage has become expedient to tackle maternal and child mortality rate. This was on Good Morning Nigeria, and Ibrahim Bello completes the report.
The Director General of National Health Insurance Authority, Dr. Kelechi Ohiri, and other guests agreed scaling up financing is the way to go for a more comprehensive health insurance coverage in Nigeria. They believe funding is the biggest challenge hindering the delivery and coverage of qualitative health insurance in Nigeria. The guest pointed out that the cost of services under the scheme needs to be reviewed due to rising cost of healthcare. They are of the opinion this will ensure those enrolled in the scheme don't pay for drugs and other services from their pockets.
With the HCPAN, which is the healthcare providers, we've met with a lot of them. We've had several engagements with the HMOs, with the states, to understand why are we having these conflicts. And this is one of the things that we've started to do. And then when you get to the root cause of it, some of it comes down to the bottom line, which is the tariffs. And that will set the framework for us to determine and review the tariffs and the costs of things. And once that is sorted, you'll find that people will go to the hospital. They'll be able to get those drugs because it is now better financed.
The premium set and the tariff for the amount the health insurance will pay the provider for providing certain services, including medication, laboratory, and others. I think they've been there for many years without being reviewed.
The money we have going into NHS, which I've also said is too small, is a pittance, can no more fund as much as it was intended to fund.
What we're trying to do is to see how we can provide cost-effective care given the resources that is available.
Dr. Ahiri highlights measures like putting a feedback mechanism in place to tackle challenges in the scheme, saying they are working with stakeholders to ensure challenges hindering effective service delivery are addressed. Other guests dismiss issues of discrimination, saying efficiency of HMO determines how fast one is attended to. They called for more strategic initiatives to enhance the scheme and ensure all Nigerians have access to health services. They noted that majority of Nigerians, especially the poor and vulnerable, are unable to enroll in the scheme despite intervention by Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. In Abuja, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, NTA News.
We'll be right back with more stories after this break. Do stay tuned.
Where is Glory?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Glow! Where Glow now?
Are they here?
Glow don't go village. Tell all our customer abi.
Everybody pay attention. See, now Glow berekete 10x. Now him might they take tension my customers. Now they dash me 10 times the credits when I load. Or even summer me double data join.
Yeah. Wait, so with 1.5 when they give all of us, so you then enjoy up to 15,000 naira credit and data.
And I say I never finish you. See, when I say if you enjoy, if you join Glow berekete 10x, when I go get 1,000 naira welcome credits. You just carry your phone, dial *777#. Finish.
Glow, you don't win.
Una see they here.
Hello, please, I'm looking for Glow.
Please save now Glow we dey fine. Now Glow we dey go.
Okay, so
enjoy 10 times the value of your recharge on Glow Berekete 10X. You also get 1,000 naira for calls and data and double data bonus on your subscription.
You are welcome back and thanks for joining us. Ogun State government has commenced the disbursements of the second phase of the 1 billion operational grant for targeted 2,832 micro and small-scale enterprises in the state under its OGK scheme. Kemi Orunsolu Sikiru was at the Obas Complex, Okemoson, Abeokuta, and now reports.
Speaking at the event, Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, represented by his deputy, Noimot Salakoyedele, says the second phase of the disbursement of the fund marks another milestone in his government's commitment to supporting growth and development of the state's medium, small and micro-scale enterprises, which played a crucial role in promoting entrepreneurship, fostering innovation, and driving inclusive economic growth.
After today's payment, we will have impacted 3,934 entrepreneurs across the state. Let me also seize this opportunity to assure you that this is not the end of the program, and there will be a phase 3 very soon.
Beneficiaries who were selected from the 20 local government areas of the state, while appreciating the gesture, notes that the gesture will uplift their lives and businesses.
Thank you, Prince Dapo Abiodun, for disbursed 100,000 for us. So God will bless you and God will bless Nigeria entirely.
Stakeholders at the event, while imploring the beneficiaries to make judicious use of the money, note the grant will also serve as social protection for the poor and vulnerable in the society and support agricultural businesses.
I'm going to invest the money. Those that have had investments already, let them add it. And those that don't have, they can start something with that money. And I want to commend the governor of the state for this gesture.
Whatever money they have given to them, they should not spend it anyhow. They should spend it judiciously, invest it in their various businesses.
The disbursement of the fund was to mitigate the effect of COVID-19 pandemic by providing support for small and medium-scale business owners in the state. About 2,832 small and micro enterprises benefited from the second phase. In Abeokuta, Kemi Orunsolu Sikiru, NTA News.
Having completed their 4-day period stay in Medina, some sets of Nigerian pilgrims for 2024 Hajj proceeded to Makkah. The pilgrims now bring 732, who are largely from Ogun State and the FCT Abuja, will perform the lesser Hajj, Umrah, preparing to commencement of the Hajj rites proper. Correspondent Jamilu Ibrahim reports. We apologize that report will not be able to come your way in this bulletin. And that concludes our package for this evening. Do have a good night rest and stay safe.
Where is Glory?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Glow! Where Glow now?
Are they here?
Glow don't go village. Tell all our customer abi.
Everybody pay attention. See, now Glow berekete 10x. Now him might they take tension my customers. Now they dash me 10 times the credits when I load. Or even summer me double data join.
Yeah. Wait, so with 1.5 when they give all of us, so you then enjoy up to 15,000 naira credit and data.
And I say I never finish you. See, when I say if we enjoy, if we not join Global Rekete 10X, when I go get 1,000 naira welcome credit, you just carry your phone, dial *777#. Finish.
Gulo, you don't win.
Una see they here. Hello, please, I'm looking for Glow. Please save now Glow we dey fine. Now Glow we dey go. Okay, so
Enjoy 10 times the value of your recharge on Glow Berekete 10X. You also get 1,000 naira for calls and data and double data bonus on your subscription.